Oh, aye.
I look sexy, don't I?
No.
Your daughter's on the...
Used to say, did you not see my video of the day?
Which one?
Aye.
You could look in the mirror and you would literally be gobsmacked. You would literally want to cry if you looked in the mirror behind him. I was trying to delete the video.
You used to see her face because you could see Marv's cheeks in the mirror.
Oh, I saw that one.
Please.
How many of your dad's videos do you want to delete, Abby?
All of them.
All of them.
Unless I'm in it. All of them unless I'm in it.
Oh.
It's just, why would you even think to post that? It's just like,
The ladies love it.
like, these people are going to go online, they're going to see you, and then they're going to see you in public, and you're going to be like, oh, shy. But see on the camera, he's like, I'm so hot. Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
I like the way this is going already.
So do your friends at school tell you anything about your dad? Did they mention your dad to you?
Don't even get me started on that. Half my friends' mums fancy my dad.
And what did they say about me, Abby?
Can we change the subject?
Hello, Abby's pals' mums.
No, but then I told Dad, and then Dad uploaded his WAP dance, and they were like, and it was like, make sure they go look at my WAP dance.
Oh.
And it was just like, yeah.
I know, he does love himself, doesn't he?
Too much. Like, he's. Do you know how cocky? And the teacher was talking to him about cocky, and it was like peacock, like, oh, look at me, and that's just my dad's a peacock.
Basically, Paul just called you a cock.
Aye.
That's not the worst thing I've been called.
Well.
Used to have heard her mum.
So, Abby, what's your favourite thing to do when you're not on TikTok? What's your favourite thing to do with your dad? Like,
spend his money.
Spend his money.
It's a good answer. That is a good answer.
That is a good answer.
I don't have any money though.
Then where do you pull it out of? Like, where does all this money? So, like,
Your trust account, your account that you would be getting when you're older, you're getting it now. Abby, I get asked today to ask you, what's the most embarrassing thing that your dad's ever done to you?
Okay, so we were in the street. Now my dad was dropping me off. Now this is the first one I can think of. Now he's done many embarrassing things, but this is the first one that I could just pull out my pain. We were in the street, and there was these friends that were they were boyfriends, but like not boyfriends as in boyfriend, I love you. No, just friends that were boys. So my dad was like, "That's a bunch of boys." So it ended up putting the windows down and shouting, "I love you, my darling."
No, it wasn't. It was, "I love you, Abby, and if it's quite all right, I love you, Abby." She was in the house, man, redneck. She was absolutely devastated that day, but all the boys were laughing.
So what do you think is going to happen when you get a boyfriend, Abby?
Have one.
What?
You have one. Oh.
Look at Paul's face.
Excuse me, can we have a conversation here? I don't think this is for a fucking videoed podcast, to be fair. But let's have a wee conversation about this. Who is this boy?
What's his name?
You blocked him.
Oh, you already know him?
Did I
He
blocked him on
spammed you with
TikTok?
hello.
Did he spam me, did he, on TikTok?
Your future son-in-law, Paul. You
Good.
blocked him.
His name was 0_Ewan_0, and you blocked him.
That's a very good name, because I'm going to speak to him right now. Ewan, you going to be in the fucking ground if I get a hold of you. I'm only kidding.
He's not. Ewan, watch out.
Yeah, he's only kidding because he was going on the day, like the weekend before Valentine's Day. He was taking me out to get him a present.
Oh,
No,
was
that
this boy?
No,
That was a
a
different boy. Aye, let's tell everybody about that. What happened about Valentine's Day?
What?
How good was your dad for Valentine's Day? How many dads would do that with their daughters?
I don't know. Like,
What did your dad do?
so I didn't want to talk to Mum about Valentine's Day because it would make me quite embarrassed. Because it was like, I want to get a boy a Valentine's present. Like, oh, what? And so I went to my dad, and my dad asked me why I didn't want to go to Mama because that was like a mum-daughter thing, and because I didn't want to tell my mum. So my dad took me out and got me a Valentine's present for a boy.
Ah.
Oh,
That's how
very
nice your
sweet.
dad is. That's how much I really hate boys having boyfriends. I don't mind you having boyfriends. Don't I? Not?
Yeah, because I'm turning into a teenager and I'm going to do these big eyebrows and I'm going to be orange because that's what everybody does.
Is that what you're going to do? Is it?
No.
No, you're fucking right. You know.
Oh,
You'll be dressed like a nun.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, we were talking
Like,
about...
What's
so-
your favourite thing, Abby, about your dad then?
Nothing.
Let's have a serious conversation here a wee minute. What you put a lovely video up? Yeah, was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? Put
I
that video
know,
up the
it
other day.
was so emotional, that video last night.
It made me cry. I'm not going to lie. It made me cry.
It was just something for a back.
Listen,
For a bit of clout. She's using you for clout. Oh, that is hilarious. You're only good for one thing, Paul, and that's for the clout.
There you
You're
go.
So
gonna get.
Clouty
so I was
Paul.
watching that last night. The tears were streaming down my face because I was so emotional about it. and you just
And
done it
Abby's
for
like,
clout.
I've got 500 followers because of my dad. It was a very
absolutely
emotional video. It was such a lovely video.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, but I got them all off his Instagram.
There you go, Paul.
I'm absolutely disgusted. Where was I supposed to be taking you tomorrow? This is how good a dad am. Where we meant to be going tomorrow, but you're now going to get it done. Off of Pamela. What you getting done that I'm paying for?
Acrylic.
She's going to get her nails done. Big acrylic nails on and all that caper. I'm a modern day father. There's no many dads. No many dads would get their 10-year-old kid acrylic nails. They'd be like, no happening.
I know.
So you're a
in
lucky girl.
fairness, yeah, modern day, because I mean, the last time I had a conversation with you and Abby was there, you were saying to Abby, you know, don't just settle for one guy. Make sure you go and find the right one. So
Yep.
see loads of guys.
Have 100 boyfriends to find the right one, then 3 boyfriends to settle for the wrong one, and that's my advice.
My dad's not a normal dad because most dads are like, oh yeah, don't get a boyfriend. You get a boyfriend when you're in your 30s and you're ready to settle down and have wings. But my dad's sitting saying, go on dates, make them pay for it, spend boys' money, and then go with the right one.
Why not?
Not bad.
In fairness, it's good advice, Abby.
It's pretty good, actually. So it's
I don't mind.
So it's the dad of the year for acrylic nails and clout.
That's it. Aye. So that's it. Aye. So I'm all right for as long as there's money getting. I'm starting to feel like as long as there's money getting spent, I'm a good dad.
I mean, you've just told her to get all the guys to spend money on her, so just start off with her dad.
Yep.
Spending his money.
So what other than spending money, Abby, do you enjoy about your father?
That'll take some time.
You don't know?
No, I do know. I do know.
What?
The fact that most dads won't go on TikTok.
And I'm famous on TikTok.
Shut up. I said this in a video when you only had like 1,000 fans. You're not famous until you have 100,000 fans. Unless you're Paula, Jughead's chicken's already famous. So
Paul, everybody you hang about me, basically.
Aye, but how many of them are having to open account after account because it keeps getting banned because somebody's that jealous?
Well, the thing is, Paul, all I'm going to say is I'm still on my first one.
I mean, I'm not homophobic. I'm not racist. I'm pro.
Oh.
I'm pro gay and lesbian and bisexual and transgender. I'm very pro that.
That's pro.
That means
pro and con?
I'm for it. Yes. So that's what I'm trying to say. We're talking
So
about.
You're like most human beings.
Yeah, but there is that element that
But
I'm
your
not like
brain
that.
is a bean.
What? Did you just say my brain's a bean? What are you talking about?
Oh my God!
What are you even saying?
You're weird in here. This is just needs facts.
She is definitely your daughter.
How am I weird? What do I do that's weird?
Your butt crack was showing in a TikTok video.
Abby, the time that you went alive on the toilet. I mean, that's
the time you went on live on the toilet, the time you made a shower TikTok, the time you did the WAP dance, the time where you had your towel down to your waist, and then the time where you were doing dad bod to 20k.
I love that.
Time to that picture got lip. I can see she's got the same thing you've got. John Paul with that lip.
And then the time where all your photos are like this.
Like that?
Yeah.
But you have loads of good laughs. Like, you have loads of good laughs with your dad. Like, you know, you've got a very special bond with him because you can see in that video you made just how close you are.
Yeah, I mean, okay, like, yeah, me and my dad are like friends, okay? Because, I mean, it's something where I can take the mick out of my dad and he's obviously not going to take it seriously. So that's what I like about our friendship.
What, that it's just sarcastic?
Because if I said I hated my dad, he would know, like, obviously I don't hate him, I'm just having a laugh. Where some people are like, why would you say you hate me? Like, shut up, I'm just having a laugh. Like, he knows how to take a joke sometimes.
Do you think that's because he's like the class clown that's never grew up?
Yes. So if you are ever going to date my dad, now girls that are listening, see how my dad's not got a girlfriend anymore, he's single. Well, if you're ever going to date my dad, you have to know you're taking on a child. You're taking a child. You are not taking a boyfriend to come in and be responsible. You're literally having another Wayne, which is like 10 times worse than your normal one.
So that's the dating advice you give to your dad's new girlfriends?
Yes. Oh, and the dating advice to my dad's new girlfriend is you have to like me. If you don't like me, you can leave.
There you go. And if you were giving your dad advice for dating, what would you say to your dad?
Maybe delete TikTok. They're not going to be happy with the TikTok.
How do you know? How do you know? I might meet somebody on TikTok in the far distant future. You remember, listen, my relationship status has just recently changed, and I don't want to talk too much about it because obviously it's still raw for other parties. Yeah, and it wouldn't be fair to talk about that. But yeah, because this is going out not next week but the week after. I shouldn't have said that. Because it would have sounded a wee better if it just went out into it. Right, but anyway. Right, so
every time
if you make a mistake,
so,
just do that and don't say anything so I can cut it.
Right. So what we're going to do is basically this is going to be a distant future thing. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm quite happy with friendships. So if you want to be my friend, and whether you're on benefits or not, benefits would be good. Yeah.
Or if you like a happy ending to the end of your massage, then Paul's your man.
Oh, let's talk about my massage business. I can get rid of that, get fired up now because there's nobody to stand in my way.
You're not going to get fired up.
Dad,
What?
listen, this massage thing started in the morning when we went live. We went live at like 11 a.m. We went to Paula's and we were going in the hot tub. My dad was like, I don't want to go in the hot tub. Instead, he was sitting at the end of the garden being so unsocial with everybody, and he was talking about his massages and how it was like giving people happy ending, and it would go in like just like shorts, and then I told him I had to wear a full body. Do you know the beekeeper suits? I
Yeah.
don't know if it was to give someone a massage, I had to wear that. Oh, and then we tricked me into saying something like, if somebody gave a gift, my dad says like it was like a friendly thing, and I was sitting saying, "Oh, you get this because you just gave us a gift. Oh my god, you get like a million of these," and then it ended up being kisses, and so I was sitting saying, "You get a kiss with my dad. Dad, go kiss her because she just gave us a gift." That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Well, Paul.
I'm getting out massages with happy endings. That's on a podcast.
And it's always going to be there now.
Yep, forever and a day.
Is it just me? I feel like seeing the first like podcast, everything was like cut this bit out and cut that bit out, and then you listen to it and it was like every minute of the conversation was like cut that out and cut that out.
Because that's generally how our conversations go. No, that's how our conversations go, Abby. What tends to happen is
Because
we
your
talk.
dad says something daft.
There's only certain things that we take out. There's certain things that don't make it look very good. But apart from that, most of it stays in. Because we try and be honest.
Most of it comes out of your dad's mouth.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, in the first podcast, I was like, when is Paula and Fraser talking? Because Paula went to talk, and my dad was like sitting butting in, and he was going, oh, yeah. And then Paula was going, and he was going, yeah, totally understand that. And it was like, Paul, shut up.
No.
Oh, yeah. So, see how this is Paula's podcast? I feel so amazing from my dad right now, because my dad is like, I always hear guests. Like, he's a guest with other guests. He's always on those, so he's like a returning guest. And it's just like, Paula's so nice to do that for my dad.
I think you'll find I am the talent here.
I think you'll find, you know, your dad likes to say that he's the main person on here, but I said I wasn't doing a podcast without your dad, so I made sure I brought him along for this journey.
Hey, Dad.
So I look good, I sound good. What can I say?
Yeah, Paula, we really need to talk about your choice of co-hosts.
Can I team up with somebody else? Abby, are you free every week for a podcast?
Yes.
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 We're talking about all the different podcasts we've got. I thought we'd go through a couple of really quickly, just a couple of the comments that we've had in some of them. I don't know if you guys have seen them yet, but it's all just total love, absolutely adornment. It's Claire's leaving. Amazing guys, inspirational. You've got, what was the other one? Claire, I can't see her second name, McKinstry. Well done, guys. That was, this is talking about Jasper's one. Well done, guys. Thank you so much. It's even funnier because we can see your reactions and see you now. Jasper's bonkers, and I can't believe how much he's had to struggle with through his life, but it's amazing that you guys have brought all this to the forefront to show off. Well, people are human on TikTok. It's not.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
They think we're all well-rounded individuals because they see us for 15 seconds smiling and dancing, and it just doesn't work like that. My life is a total car crash. No lie, Abby will back you up. My life is a total car crash, isn't it, Abby?
Let's be honest, yes.
But the good thing about the Mon Blether podcast is that's why we're here. We're here for you, Paul. We're here for anybody that's struggling. There's always a bed here, right there. There's always tea in the kettle. Tea in the kettle? That doesn't sound right.
Oh, listen, he's wanting to come to me. Like, he's got it planned out. He's going to move into mine, use my hot tub for all these women. So that's me. I'm not having a hot tub. I'm just going to have your dad staying at my house permanently, Abby, bringing these women here, and I've just to, like, put my earplugs in at night, I think.
He said he's going couch surfing, and when my gran kicks him out, he's going to Paula's. And he's going to bring all his babes in the hot tub.
He did. He's also gave me that heads up, to be fair, Abby. But I did offer that he could stay here, minus the babes.
Minus the babes, aye.
Like, she's giving you this opportunity to have somewhere to stay when Gran kicks you out, and you are taking advantage of it.
Much like the podcast, Abby. Much like the podcast.
Do you know, Paula?
Yes, 100%.
Do you know, Paula? Isn't it strange that this is the first podcast where I've been able to hear you?
Paul's not spoke.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's very strange.
Touching on to what Abby said there, that first podcast, I felt like I never spoke in it, and I was like, God, everybody thinks I'm Gabby. But actually,
you were quite shy. That first podcast. It was like you could see it as well. You could see it.
Okay, well, the second one, you were still Gabby. The third one, you were still Gabby.
I'll tell you what, the second one, nobody got a word in.
Oh.
Amanda
she
just took over, by the way. Do you know what? It's not a bad thing.
It wasn't.
Because if you've noticed, it's had almost 1,200 views.
Yeah.
In just over a week.
Because that kid's like a queen. 100%.
A queen.
Sandy did say that.
Do you think like your dad and Ducky would be a good couple?
Ducky can do like 100% better. Like, my dad would be her last choice.
Right, okay. So, like, out of TikTok, if you had to, like, put him with someone from TikTok that you think's the best match for your dad, who would it be?
He's Stalker.
Who's a stalker?
So, when
don't
my
have a stalker
dad...
anymore. That stalker's gone now.
Yeah, but when my dad first joined TikTok, there was this one girl who was always on the video. The minute he posted, she was on it. She was liking it. She was spamming the comments, and it was like, "Oh my God, love her! Oh my God, she's beautiful! Oh my God, Paul, you're so good looking!" Blah blah blah. And we had a name, Stalker, and it was just like, and he got quite a lot of them actually, which was quite creepy. But so we had
when you look like this, though.
Fabulous.
No,
Fabulous.
Dad.
I love the facial expressions. It's great. I love it.
Did I put you off, Abby? Did I put you off what you were saying there? I apologise. You carry on now.
Yeah, apologise for literally making me want to rub it. Boys make me sick.
I'm your dad. I shouldn't make you sick. Do you not want me?
I just think my pals dads make them sick. And I don't think my pals flirt with their mums either.
Right, so I've got a good question for you, right? Do you think that your dad is going to find love and settle down and live the rest of his life a happy man, or do you think that he's going to just be on his own because he can't hold down a relationship?
No, I think you're going to get a house, and I think you're going to get like a few good friends. But I don't see you settling down soon.
Very diplomatic, Abby. Very diplomatic.
He says when him and my mum split up, he was everywhere. He was down in Glasgow, he was in Burnt Island, he was in Carlisle, he was in everywhere, Edinburgh. He said he was everywhere.
I says I was Stirling. No, that was my... Listen, I didn't know him in Burnt Island 3 years ago.
Your child's back, Paul.
Right, so... I didn't know him then 3 years ago. So don't say Burnt Island, Abby. Do you know this all came for?
This all came for.
This all came for. No, listen, no, I didn't. Do you know what this came for, right? Because Christina was on one of my lives, right? And she had messaged saying we were eating our breakfast in this wee place in Coatbridge, and it was new, and we're like, oh, this is good, we'll go for a bit of scranny, Abby. I had scrambled egg. What did you have again?
I think I had cheese toasty. Cheese
toasty, right. So we're eating something to eat. We're doing a live at the same time in this wee place. I loved them. Remember them lives? Can't remember what they were like, but I think I remember liking them. Right, so we're having something to eat, and Christina's in the live, and she's like, oh, there's a wee place up here. You can get something to eat. It's lovely. I says to Abby, I says, we should maybe get through there. And she just said, "I let me know when you're coming through," and she would, her and her wee boy would come. That's what it was. Just I wish people would calm it down.
All I'm saying is Abby said Burnt Island 3 years ago.
I didn't know anything Burnt Island 3 years ago. Right, aye, but Abby, what do you mean I was saying that? How did you know I was saying that?
You were saying it on the phone in the car when my ears pods were not in. See, I don't forget stuff, and that's what a lot of people don't like about me. I don't forget what people say.
No, but you forgot you had for your dinner last night.
I hold it.
Hold it.
You change about your dad then, Abby?
He's nudity TikToks.
It's fair enough.
He's inappropriate TikToks. He's flirting TikToks, the one where he winks.
So everyone?
I liked the TikToks when me and my dad, it was called dad_abs.
Yeah, there's
It ruined my life because it changed the name. And he turned it into Paul Brannan. Then he turned it into a bad word and giggle. And then he turned it into Donor Stoner. And it broke my heart. Oh, and it also had a phase where it was like, Paul Brannan jokes not very funny. Because he was trying to get people to say his jokes were funny.
So what do you think about getting, well, you and your dad back on the same account again?
I would totally agree with that. Because I'm the reason he's on TikTok. I got him on TikTok and he was like, oh, this is a load of crap. Oh, what is this? Oh, and he was being a grumpy old man, okay? And then he got used to it. And he made his first TikTok by himself and it was him doing this. And it all went down, and it went downhill through there. It was putting his jokes on, and I was like, I don't get that. And it was like, you're not meant to. And I was like, this isn't fair. This was my account with my dad. And then I wasn't allowed on the account. My dad would own the account, so I was kicked off the account through my phone, and it was on my dad's phone then. But I still know the details.
The thing is, Abby, he might actually need you because he's had that many accounts in his own name now. It's like a Sky account. He's got to come back to you to put it back into your name at some point. Anyhow to get him onto a life.
So who would you like to see on the podcast next, Abby?
Me? Oh, Little's Titting. He hasn't been on, has he?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Little's Titting coming on would be good. I love his singing because he's like super nice. But I loved this video where he was getting ripped off by this lassie and he was just like dancing. So this lassie was screaming and shouting about him and he was just like this. Dancing at the wee beat, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I didn't stop watching it. I kept watching it because I like chicken. And he followed me back not too long ago, and I was screaming. And Doug Kid forgot to follow me back, so I'm sad. But Little String followed me back.
So more like that is Doug Kid get following Abby back.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Kid said you would follow me.
So who's your favourite people on TikTok? We know Chicken. It's one of them.
Yeah, Chitting's one of them. Now, I know, like, everybody, like, okay, so I'm going to get, like, ooh, who's that for this? But Emma Cassidy.
Right.
Mel told him, and I loved how dad was talking to Emma Cassidy through his live, because I followed her before, like, my dad was living on TikTok, and she followed me back to one of my videos that got 1,000 likes. And I was literally, like, screaming, and then she ended up following my dad back and it like burst my bubble. Because not only did my dad get more followers than me, he got a follow for Emma Cassidy. And I was like, heartbroken.
Yeah, but have you seen your dad?
Shut up, Dad. She's like 19. This is the same way Brogan.
Who's Brogan?
Brogan is a small TikToker. Now, I love Brogan because she's like my older sister now. But my dad was saying that he's her stepdad and her PE teacher and nothing was going on and they weren't actually dating, blah, blah, blah. She's literally a teenager and then they were going to meet up and, like, watch aeroplanes fly.
Oh, yeah, that's a great thing. Should we talk about something else?
That's not the story. We're on a live. No, we were on a live, right? So we done an Instagram live. She was on the other side of the Instagram live, and we were having a bit of banter. There was no plain spotting. I'm not a PE teacher. She just says I look like a PE teacher who she had a crush on at school, and that's how the conversation evolved. I says I'm not your PE teacher, and then somebody can look at you're creepy something or other. You want to be our uncle, and I says no, I'm not your uncle, but you can call me daddy.
Abby's face right now.
So it was literally just a bit of banter. Abby's told that story, and it sounds like I should be in the jail, and that's not the case.
You should be in the jail.
Oh man!
Not too long ago, we were on live. Now this was one of our last lives on TikTok. This is one of the last live with me on TikTok before he got banned on his second account, and it was bringing up all these bad words, and I didn't know what they meant. So I was like, "What does this the word mean?" And he was going, "Oh no, we need to change that word. It's this word." And blah blah blah. And he's sitting like, "Oh, you shouldn't be saying that. Like, you shouldn't be saying it then either, should you?"
No, I shouldn't.
I feel bad right now because, like, my dad takes over this live and I take over this live. Okay, but Fraser is the reason Paula and my dad are on this, and he talks the least.
Do you know why I talk the least?
Why?
Why do you think? No?
Because you don't have anything to talk about.
Oh, I've got loads of stuff to talk about.
Right. So we'll do then. Me and Paul will take a step back, right? And you and Fraser can have a conversation for a minute, right?
Yeah.
All right, Abby.
No,
ask me anything you like.
We had a conversation before you just came on, actually. I was the first person to join.
She was. It was a black screen for 5 minutes, but she did join. It was really good. But then you fixed it.
Brought on time.
Because
I had to turn the camera on because I didn't allow the face.
That's very true. It's very good. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Right, so.
You got any questions?
Talk to me, guys.
Paul's face. You're like so unimpressed, Paul.
I'm just waiting on Fraser and Abby talking so that I can start talking again.
Right.
Well, clearly we've stopped talking because my dad's talking more than he was before. Okay, Dad, you can talk now. Like, we understand. You're repentant.
Right, so I'll talk if you want. I'm quite happy to talk.
Right, go for it. Go for it.
So the reason we started the podcast, it wasn't me. You can't really say that it's Fraser's podcast or Fraser started it because it's not true. I got the idea, so I planted the wee tiny seed. And Paula, being an amazing woman that she is, found your dad and thought this was going to be a great duet. So it's not really anything to do with me. If it wasn't for these two are absolutely brilliant. And because they have the amount of followers and the attitudes that they have, it's incredible to be able to show other people being able to watch the podcast and see that they're just real people like everybody else, and there's not really any difference. You know, it's 15 seconds you see of somebody's life, and it's not really showing you who they are or what they're about. It just shows them what their funny side is or what their creative side is. So it's really important to have this, to be able to show people that TikTokers are real, big TikTokers. And Little Chicken, he's just as real as everybody else. And he can't be funny all the time, but some people just think that's what he's like. So it's the whole point of the podcast is to show love and have a safe place and a safe space for anybody that needs it. And for anybody that wants to tell their story. And if they want to tell their story, then they're very free to do so. And we'll always back them up. But really, I don't mind being in the spotlight or not being in the spotlight. Because of my job, I'm kind of in the spotlight anyway. And that's why I don't push for any of my videos. Everything that I do for myself. And I make sure that I'm happy before I try and please anybody else. As long as I'm happy, then that's all that counts, really.
See, so Fraser had a lot to say there, and use, but my dad, not you, my dad, was talking where Fraser could be saying all that inspirational stuff. Where's my dad?
Oh, he'll be back in a second. He reads a text message. That's what happens.
Right, so Abby, what makes you sad?
What makes me sad? Quite a lot of things, actually. I can get upset really easily. I'm quite sensitive.
Wait, what's the things that make you sad for a long time, not just for a minute?
Maybe feeling I've did something wrong, knowing that I haven't like meant it, but like I've did it. So like, let's say, okay. I was really sad for a long time when my brother went into a care home.
Right.
Because I didn't have anybody else there.
Right.
Who was like in my age group. I was really sad when Mum and Dad split up.
Right. So let's talk about the two things first, right?
Okay.
So how do you get over your sadness? What is it you do to try and make yourself feel happy or get away from that sad feeling?
Crying.
Does crying help you? Does it? What does that feel like?
Letting everything out.
Good.
See, I'm choking up. Stop.
Do you want us to stop? Sorry, I thought we were just having a wee conversation. I thought we'd just have a wee minute.
No, it's fine. It's just like think of sad things. I don't need to be sad about it now.
No, because everything comes good in the end, and this is what I have got an end game. I'm not asking you these questions because I have got an end game in my head. So I was asking these questions to see what makes you feel sad. What is it that you do, or what is it that gets done in your life to stop you from feeling sad, or to make those things feel less hurt? There's less hurt inside you. And then I was going to bring it right back to time. So what you need to remember is your brother went into care a wee while ago, didn't he? We're talking over a year now he's been there. Your mum and dad have been split up 2.5 years. And what I'm getting at is things that hurt you in a specific moment in time, they get better. They don't change. That's never going to change. Your brother's not going to ever change that he's been in. He's always going to have went into care. Me and your mum have always going to have split up. But the point I'm getting at is we're 2.5 years down the line. You've got used to the fact that me and your mum are not together. It's not as bad now. You're happy in that situation because you've realised that actually the only change in your life is that your dad doesn't live with you anymore. That's pretty much the only change you've got. But at the time, that would have seemed like the worst thing that ever happened to you. What I'm trying to get at is you're going to find these bumps all your life. There's going to be points in your life where you're going to think, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my whole life. And in that minute, or in that moment, or in that week or month or year, you're going to feel so bad and so hurt. But what I'm trying to get at is when you look back, you need to look back at when your mum and dad split up. You need to look back at when your brother went into care, and you need to look at these things and think, do you know what? Yes, this is really bad what's happening right now, but I've been in similar situations and I got through that, and I will get through this as well. So it's character building. So
it
although the things that happen
person.
to you,
yeah.
And that's what I'm getting
at. You're a stronger person, Abby. Like, I mean, I've been, my mum and dad split up when I was 12, and I've had various things that have happened to me in my life, and like I don't forget that they split up, but I also had great moments when it was just my dad that I spent time with, and equally just my mum, and they both brought different bits to my life. That I've got a good relationship with both of them, and they've brought different parts to my life where they've been supportive, and they get on really well for me and my brother and things like that. But at the same time, like what your dad's saying is, it does make you a stronger person, because like you know, although you've had that from a young age, there is going to be other things in your life, maybe when you're in your 20s or your teens and so on and so forth. And you'll remember back to when this moment happened and you got through that. And so anything else that happens, you will get through it no matter how long it takes you, because you'll still always have the support of your mum and dad. And they're the most two important people that you should never worry about having to tell them anything, because they will always support you no matter how bad it is. They'll always be the ones there beside you, standing there, making sure that you're all right, no matter what it is and how bad it is.
Is that all right for you, that advice? I should be an agony uncle, shouldn't I? I should have my own podcast. Paul helps you with your issues.
I'm going to tell you something, Paul. You could team up with Ducky. Ducky's starting an agony aunt one on Monday, so you could team up with her and do a podcast, Agony Aunt and Uncle, and maybe I'd be able to talk on this one.
Right, I'll see you later.
And he's off.
He's out the car. Scott.
Here we go. This is like that. Do you know what this is? This is a Paul special here. This is a Paul special when Paul says, "That's it, guys. I'm leaving TikTok now. I'll never be back to TikTok. I'm away." He said, "More come back and take that."
Remember that though. Goodbye, guys. I've been kicked for life. I'm never coming back. And then people were actually commenting on it.
Yeah, threw his toys right out the camera hallway.
And it was like, "Thank you for making me laugh." Blah blah blah. And it was like, shut up.
Yeah, all the time. Like he just throws his toys at the pub. He's dead moody.
Yeah. Back to the sad talk. You guys made me choke up, so I'm gonna make all you choke up.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Dad, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your entire lifetime? Being like 55.
Wow, it's asking me.
37 and 55, quite a jump, Paul.
I know. Listen, I couldn't tell you there's one specific point in my life where I can say it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But what I will say is the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with, because my mind was so raw at the time and I wasn't a fully grown adult, was probably when I had to move schools in primary 6 because I was getting bullied quite badly. So I get bullied for months and I didn't tell anybody. My mum used to give me money for my lunch every day, and that money would get taken off me, so I didn't eat lunch for about 3 or 4 months. And I get bullied quite really, really badly, so it affected me, and I didn't tell anybody.
Why?
Couldn't tell anybody because at that time, you need to remember, Abby, we're going back to 19. When would I be? What days would I be? I'd have been about 10 or 11.
1980s.
So I'm going back to 1993, 94, right? Somewhere in between there. Right? And
when you were in school.
Shush. And back then, anti-bullying, it wasn't a big thing. They had posters, they had different things, but it wasn't policed in school and stuff like that. It was just kissing makeup. It was kissing makeup, and then when you went home, if you were getting into trouble, and when you were that age, back in that day, if I went in and said to my mum or my stepdad at the time, "Somebody's done this to me," we'll go and hit them back then. And it's no simple as that. We used to go in and tell your mum and dad, "What you coming in and tell me for? If you come in here and get battered again, I'm going to batter you for getting battered. Get out there and stick up for yourself right now." Or he would come out, or they would come out with you, and they would walk round and watch you fighting the wee boy. That was the kind of mindset back then. So that's why back then it was probably held in more. But what I would say is there was no social media. So the good news is when I went home at night,
it was left at your doorstep.
I got a break. So as soon as I left school, I knew that I had a nice reprieve overnight. I could relax. I could do everything. Kids these days don't have that luxury. They don't have the luxury of escaping, and that's what you need. Everybody needs to escape. At whatever problems you've got in your life, if you can get away from them, no saying to run away from your problems. What I'm saying is, but if you can take time out away from that issue to reflect and think and just maybe even enjoy 5 minutes reprieve, it helps a lot in a situation. But if it's constant, and if you're getting bullied in school and then you're getting bullied through social media or text messaging, sorry guys, or any of that other stuff, then it's not an easy life. So right, and I don't know if you've seen my video yesterday. I had done a video for Gillian Muir. Now Gillian Muir's Shuffle Gal on TikTok, right? And she'd contacted me. She put a video on, so I can tell you what it was. So she had actually self-harmed because she was getting bullied that bad.
It was her daughter. Her daughter's 12, and it was her daughter. Yep.
And she was self-harming because of bullies. That's the day and age that we're living in. I would never have thought of self-harming back then because I got away with it. Whereas kids nowadays, they don't get away with it, and it's just an absolute shitstorm. Let me say.
And off the back of that, she put that video up raising awareness for anti-bullying, because her daughter had been bullied at school and ended up down the path of self-harming, and she then received a backlash on TikTok of people saying, well, show us the self-harming marks, show us the, all this, which is just completely. So, yeah, from that perspective, I see what you're saying. Like that back when I was the same age as you, well, I'm a bit younger than you, but, there was none of that. So you didn't have to worry about that. But now she's tried to raise awareness to have it backlashed and people asking to see things. It's actually the mentality.
What gets through your brain? What gets through your brain when you're saying, I want the proof?
Yeah, but why would you say, see if she were to actually go take her own 12-year-old daughter's this and say, here you go, here is where my daughter has hurt herself. Are you happy now? And you saw all this scratching and blood and
I'll tell you what would happen. She would get her account blocked.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing that would happen.
You'd be horrified to see that. So, and then she would get backlash for showing you, but yet, they ask.
It's just the world that we live in now. People, it's nice and easy. See, you're typing on a screen and you can write whatever you want.
Yeah. See,
if you're standing in front of the person, you wouldn't say boo to them because you'd be frightened of the repercussions. But you think you're sitting four cities away, could be 400 miles away, writing whatever you like, knowing that you're never going to come face to face with that person and you're never going to receive. And I'm advocating for this, and I remember when we were young, if you had something to say behind somebody's back, as a kid you get battered, you get leathered. If that person found out what you were saying about them and you were being that nasty about them, you would get a king. That was. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. What I'm saying is that was the fear. So there was less of that back in the day because you were actually. You didn't have access to Dundee, so the people who I was talking about were people for the same street as me, 4 streets away, 5 streets away. If I was talking about them, you kind of thought more of it because you were thinking, right, if I tell that person, then that might get back to that person, and then that person might hit me or whatever. So there was more of a fear, whereas that fear's taken away with the fact that it's on a computer screen or a phone. So you don't have the same. Fear, and you don't have the fear of the police anymore.
The problem though is for the person who's getting that, and I'll just touch on this a bit because this week I've had so much hate on TikTok in particular, that I have posted quite a few mental health awareness videos because it has really got to me, on the basis that I've had so much hate. There's a page that's made up that you know about, Paul, and 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 they're still going on, and they've done it again tonight. Like I came home from Dundee today to another video, and it's some of the stuff is not necessarily directed at me, but I'm tagged in it, and I don't want to be associated with something like that. But equally, the stuff that is stuff that necessarily wouldn't bother me, but when it's continuous all the time, it's all right when you're sitting behind a computer, you're not seeing the reaction of the person you're aiming and targeting.
No.
But it does actually mentally, it does get to you at some stage, whether you're the strongest person in the world or not, mentally it just starts getting to you because, one, you don't know what else has went on in my week. You don't know what else is going on in the rest of my month. I have other responsibilities. So for people to then start with trolling and hate throughout the week, which I've had all week long, this particular week, does take an effect on you. And that's one piece.
And this week especially, because the past couple of weeks, me and you went through similar issues where there's been events in our lives where it's turned our lives upside down.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie to you, you all know what happened to me last Monday. I went through a similar situation maybe a few days ago. Not still the same kind of mindset and stuff. And
What happened?
I just had a bit of meltdown last Monday, and I found maybe the last couple of weeks tough. Now I'm quite lucky because I'm very headstrong normally, and it takes a lot for to put me in that place. But I was there. But what I'm saying is, I didn't get any hate, whereas you went through a similar situation to me over the past couple of weeks, and there's folk just don't realise what you've went through and are giving you fucking abuse on TikTok. These people, and I can't emphasise this enough, whatever you're writing on somebody's video, whatever you're writing in somebody's live, could be, nobody's saying that that's the reason they're going to kill themselves. It might never be the reason that they kill themselves, but that could be the tipping point. It's a tipping point. It's a balancing act. And if you're already here, if somebody's already here and you write that one last thing, boom, they're gone because they can't take anymore.
Yeah.
So,
but at
the same time, somebody's here and you come on and you write something positive, you write something nice, you build that person up as much as you can in that comment, and all of a sudden, somebody's back to the balance, and that's it. So I can't emphasise enough, the comment that you write could be the difference between that person becoming more mentally sane and in a sound mind and back in a happy place, or it could be the tipping point. And I wish people would just think more about what they're writing before they write it and why and what consequences it's got.
But then the thing is, see the second you tip it and it's like your big balance story. So basically, the minute that happens and that goes on the news or all over social media or whatever it happens, because the minute somebody kills themselves who are on social media and they've sadly passed away, the second that they're on social media, it's everywhere, it's out and they're famous and they get so much love, and half the percent of the reason they killed themselves are the people saying, rest in peace, I hope you fly high, blah blah blah, you were amazing, blah blah blah, all these nice stuff. Give them flowers then. Don't go to their grave for Friday. Visit them then. Don't sit and say nice things about them now. Say it then. Don't sit and hate on them now. Because they're gone now. You can't do anything now. So no matter how nice you are, they don't come back. So let's be honest. The happiest person in your friend group is probably the saddest. Because Kurt usually looks so happy in his TikToks, and he made a TikTok the other day saying he wished someone would come up to him and say, "Are you okay?" He'd say yes, and they'd just hug him and say, "No, you're not." And it was like Kurt seemed so happy, but clearly sometimes he's not, and nobody knows that until he posts it. So sometimes you need somebody to just.
Yeah, very true. The easiest thing to do when you're making a comment to anybody's video on any platform is if you had that same comment that you've just typed coming at you, if you would like that, then that's fine. If you type something you think, I don't want ever anybody to write that to me, then just don't write it. My mammy told me a great saying which was, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And if you really don't like the person because of their face, their hair, whatever, just block them. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Because these people are just spreading hate. And when big TikTokers reply to these vile wee creatures in their wee caves who think they're great because they're going, oh, you look at you and your stupid dance. But they get a kick out of people doing a video about them, because then suddenly they're in the media's eye. Then people are going to go and look at their page. And it's really hard, because in human nature, you just want to reply by going, see you, don't you comment about that. Don't you say that to me again. It's really hard to not do that. But it's the best way to, it's just not to reply to them, because that's, you're feeding them, isn't it?
There's this girl on TikTok now. She's probably a wee bit too famous for all the Scottish TikTokers. She isn't even Scottish. I think she's like from America or something. But she was doing something about weight. And it was, she has like 4 billion fans. But I've watched her since she was like 100k. Now she's called Brooklyn. And obviously nobody has the perfect body. And she doesn't either. And she wore this crop top in a video, and she got a hate comment. She replied to it, and she did like this shooting thing, put her leggings in a wee bit, and it showed that she wasn't skinny anymore. And then she was dancing around, enjoying herself. And then she kept doing these videos the more she got hate, and she was replying and doing it. And she got more likes than Charlie D'Amelio.
But what's more, what's better for you?
The thing is, you're not always doing it for likes. I've replied to hate comments, so I've replied to quite a bit of hate comments previously, and you don't do it for likes. Yeah, I do it because I would rather take the hate than somebody any day of the week, but this week in particular, and I felt dead emotional there just when my Abby was talking, because well, it just shows how good a parent you are, Paul, that you've brought her up like that, but also because it's been a tough week, and hate comments, you don't always want to reply. And I have replied, but I've not replied this week because it does just get to you. And it's hard.
I was thinking not too long ago that I was coming up with these crazy things, but see online bullies who push people to kill themselves. Okay, so they deserve to go to jail because they've basically caused a murder. They are the reason they killed themselves. So it's like virtual murder.
Yep.
Yes.
It's not them going up and stabbing them, but it's them making them do that.
Yeah, but we need to remember the difference between hate and bullying. Because if somebody comes onto your video and puts one sentence on there, it's hate. Yeah. Bullying is systematic, so that needs to be more than once. It needs to be a repetitive process. So there's difference, and both are wrong. But everybody's got anger in them. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never said something hateful. Never going to sit here and say I've never. I'm a very reactive person. I'm not going to lie. I'm not proactive. If I'm getting into an argument with somebody, I tend to be silent and ignore the person. Then if that person decides to keep going and arguing with me, I can become angry. Then I'm reactive. So what I would say is, if I don't like you or I'm in a huff, I get in a huff. There's other people out there who, if they get angry or they don't like you, will want to fight with you and argue with you. And what I'm saying is, I can be reactive. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an angel and I've never said the wrong thing at the wrong time, or I've argued or done anything. What I'm saying is, as a person, I try my best not to do that. I think I've only ever written one thing I hate on TikTok. I've only ever written one comment, and you know what? It wasn't because somebody was doing a dance and I wanted to laugh at them or say something nasty to them. It was a guy that was standing there with a baseball bat in one hand, a knife in the other, and basically saying it was like a song. Look at my bird again, and something will happen to you or something. I can't remember. Something to do with anyway. Something to do with don't get near his bird or he's going to do something nasty to you. So I just put a comment on going like, "Aye, nice one, mate. That's brilliant." On TikTok, I says, I'm surprised you've even got a woman with videos like that or something. But it was after that I thought maybe I should have just went past it. But at the same time, the dad in me thought, well, if my daughter comes across somebody standing there with a baseball bat and a knife in their hand, I'm like, and this is what gets to me about TikTok. I've been banned, live banned, on 3 accounts. I had account Thanos, totally wiped off the face of the earth. And there's people allowed to stand there with a balaclava on and a baseball bat and a knife. And, and you're just like, do you know what? See, sometimes TikTok is its own worst enemy. And that's it's starting to show now. Because remember when we were lockdown and we had that togetherness and everybody was like, oh, we're all in this together, and TikTok was such a laugh, and there was nobody giving the hate. All the videos in March and April, I didn't see any hate. I just seen love for everybody and everybody clubbing together because everybody was stuck in the house and everybody was going through the same thing. And now that life is starting to return to some sort of normality, I don't mean normality, I mean you can go to the pub, you can go to your work, life's problems are rather than being centralised in a house trying to find an escape, your problems are back to normal, and folk are just thinking that's an avenue now to start being.
But I think that's just people's true colours coming out, because at the beginning, nobody wants to portray themselves as an arsehole, right?
Yeah.
You don't. But if you're an arsehole, eventually that's going to come out, regardless if it's 4 months, 6 months, a year down the line. You're going to show that one wee bit and it's going to just come out. And that will always happen in any walk of life. Like, that will happen. So I think that's what's happened, is people have eventually shown their true colours, essentially, and equally some of their colours are jealousy colours, and they're jealous of other people. Then because of TikTok, they've maybe got, there's various TikTokers on there who've got massive followings, who've then went on and been able to get other things because of these followings, and that's great. Like, they've done that off their own back, fantastic. But there's people that hate on that, and they're the ones that will try and pull your accounts down because of that. And the hate that I'm getting now, they've said that they want my account shut down. This is one of the things that came out yesterday, and the hate that I've received is they want my account closed. So
what for?
I don't know.
Did they give you a reason?
I had a question.
They want me and Littlest Chicken to tag the both of us in it for our accounts to be closed.
I have a question.
Right.
So this entire time you've been asking me questions. So I have a question. How do you feel about forgiving people? Like, what is your thoughts on, like, someone makes a really big mistake? They really truly, I apologise that it was quite a long time ago. How do you feel about forgiving them?
Oh, you should always try to forgive. It depends. Forgiveness only comes through change. So if you say you're sorry, right, but you continue to display the behaviours that you were sorry for, then you're not sorry. You're just sorry because things aren't going your way, because you're not getting what you want. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
If you're genuinely remorseful and you're apologetic and you display new behaviours that are totally the opposite for what you've done during that mistake, then yeah, forgiveness should always be there for everybody.
I think as well with forgiveness, if you've made peace with something yourself, so if somebody's done something to you and you've now moved on from it, maybe it's slightly easier to forgive them. You're not always going to have the same relationship with somebody, but you can't. Well, me personally, I've had situations where I've not had the same relationship with somebody, but I've been able to move on and just say, okay, I'll forgive. But you don't forget, which is something you need to remember. Just because you forgive something doesn't mean you forget it.
That's the whole point of the podcast. I don't know if you know what the point of the podcast is, Abby. It's to touch on serious issues, but no absolutely depress the life out of people for the whole hour and 20 minutes that we do the podcast. So it's to give do you know what, serious issues with a bit of fun and hilarity mixed in, so that people enjoy the podcast rather than go, do you know what, that was depressing as hell.
And the thing is, Abby, like, me and Fraser are right, we can log out of this and we don't need to see your dad, but you're going to need to look at your dad as soon as you come off of this, so you've got extra time with your dad. I'm a bit concerned because Paul actually messaged me today saying, can you visit other people's houses? And I thought, he's coming over to visit me tomorrow. So I'm like, right, okay, so I'll probably see you tomorrow, Abby, at some point.
You will, definitely. If I don't know what the rules are yet. The rules changed for Lanarkshire, but we'll find out.
You're not allowed in other people's houses unless you're 12 and under, and you're allowed
in their garden.
No,
you're
but
allowed in garden.
It's going to be a good day tomorrow, but like what I'm saying is, if the rules are only 7 days in Lanarkshire, I don't know if they've extended it yet, so I'll need to check that. But yeah, listen, guys, let's wrap it up.
No, but wait, can we end the podcast at a nice note? Because we literally just had the saddest talk ever.
Right, tell us a joke then. You do it. You finish the podcast with a joke or a song or a happy scene or do something good. Go for it.
I'm not funny, so I can't tell a joke. I can't sing, so I can't do that.
So how are you going to end the podcast on a happy note then? What are you going to do?
She's just going to roast you.
Look at my TikTok, okay? It's way better than Donner. So much better. It is so much better content. I might have to take that video down because I think that has given my dad a bit of a great, amazing.
That's all right, because I screen recorded it and put it up my own.
And where was my tag so I could get a bit of fame?
I know it was the clout, for goodness sake.
Oh, she done it for clout and you couldn't even tag her, for God's sake.
I'll take one more question if you want.
In fact, see the video you did about your dad with the "You Can't Break Me," my dad's Donna Stoner?
This is my video taking the absolute mickey out my father. And I hope you enjoy it.